Welcome to Seven Trumpets Prepper. Guys, in this video, I'm going to go over 7 things that a woman brings to your life in relationship and also in the marriage. I hope this is a help to people. I don't want this to be a video that people think I'm beating up on women or is in any association to MGTOW or anything like that. What actually spawned this video is somebody commented to a video I produced recently saying that all the female subscribers that support this channel, that they would quit supporting me, pretty much to that, somewhat to that context, pretty much they wouldn't support me if I said, you know, if I actually rebuked women or corrected women to how I felt about the situation. So I'm going to respond to both sides of that fence. Although this is not really prepping related, I do find it in a faith aspect really relevant to this time. And I've touched on this recently, this past year, in one other video. We live in unprecedented times. We live in a time that is unlike any other in the history of humanity. A person can get on social media and find a new companion tomorrow. You can easily just do about anything you want when it comes to relationships, marriages, anything anymore. And with that said, it's changed the dynamic along with feminism being so integrated into people's lives. It has destroyed the woman in this generation. It has destroyed the marriage and relationships in this generation. And so what I would do to respond to that person's comment and the whole thing, I got to thinking about that, is the best way to respond to that is tell ladies and gentlemen the 7 things. Let's look at it. What does a woman bring to a relationship in this last generation? And there's 7 things that I wrote down. All right, I'm going to start with the first 3 that are good and the last 4 that can be terribly bad. And I just want to draw a real clear picture. The last thing I want to say is people will say that not all women are like this, what I'm about to list off. And they're not. And that's why that I still have hope in marriage. That's why I still have hope in relationships. But a lot of women are bad. A lot of women are toxic, along with a lot of men. But in the spirit of answering this person's comment and starting to respond to some of the things that people bring forward to me, saying that I don't ever address this stuff on this channel, we're going to talk about it. So the first thing that a woman will bring to your life, and one of the most positive things, is she'll be a dwelling companion. You know, it sucks sometimes to be by yourself. I mean, whether you want to hang out with your buddies or go fishing together or go take a road trip or whatever, you can only spend so much time with your friends. I myself like a lot of time by myself anymore. The older I get, I'm becoming more introverted. But as to a partner, every man wants a woman in his life for the most part, okay? They want somebody to dwell with. They want somebody to enjoy life's journey with. And there's nothing wrong with that. This world is cold and painful and hard enough without not having somebody to take that journey with. And so I think the first thing that I would say in this video response to that person and also just as a whole is that, you know, a woman brings to your life a dwelling companion. Now, sometimes that can be a good thing and sometimes that can be a bad thing. And the other points I'll get into in a minute. And I want to keep this video very short today, so hopefully more people will watch it. The second thing that a woman will bring into your life that can be good or bad is a DNA duplicator. A woman, one of the greatest gifts a woman can ever give you is a duplication of your DNA. What I mean by that is having children. You know, my son's one of the greatest things that, one of the greatest treasures in this life that I've been able to ascertain. And I thank the Most High God for him. I hope he becomes 100 times the man that I ever could have dreamed to be. And I wish him nothing but love, happiness, joy, and success all to the end of his days. And his children after him, I hope, are far more successful than him. And as we all should desire. But a woman can duplicate your life. She can create, by you putting your seed inside a woman, as the scripture breaks down, you can have a lot of children and you can have a legacy. And that's something, that's a beautiful thing to be brought forward. Another thing that, you know, our generation gets hung up on the Tinder apps, and I think it's called Bumble and all this other junk that's out there, you know, is a woman brings sex to the table, okay? And sex is a wonderful thing, all right? And especially within the bounds of marriage, do it right. Guys, I'll just put it to you like this: dopamine, the oxytocin, the endorphins. We can talk science class, or we can just talk it straight down the board. And I mean, sex is one of the most beautiful things a person can experience in this life, and the bond between another person. And these first three things I've listed off are great. But the other four things is what is probably going to set some people ablaze. And this is why I look at relationships very carefully nowadays in the last days, and especially somebody that's went through a divorce and has had to start their life completely over. It really opens your eyes. Fourth thing that comes to mind is debt. I don't care. There's a saying that a traditional woman costs the most. And, I mean, women in this generation are very irresponsible. I think it's because that parents didn't raise them right or didn't care. And on top of that, they're some of the most, what is the word that I want to use? Frivolous spenders. And so, in this generation, because of narcissism, because of social media, because of the lack of accountability, because that it always comes down to that the man's always at fault almost all the time. You can cheat on a woman, it's your fault. She cheats on you, it's still your fault because you caused her to somehow. The same principle applies with this on number 4 is debt. Is because 2/3 of the student loan debt out there today belong to women. Consumer debt massively belonging to women. And by seeing this, you see the irresponsibility in our culture. And so a man has to be wise in this aspect as to selecting a partner, because it's bad enough that we have our own debts. It's hard enough to work for every dollar you have nowadays. You got to have a grind, you got to have a hustle, and then you got to have something on the side that's just residuals to have anything of what would resemble a decent life. And so when you're picking up somebody else's debt, that just is already another headache. And in this, like I said, narcissistic culture where that a lot of people are all about themselves, you're going to run into this in situations. Now, don't get me wrong. Everybody falls on hard times. But a lot of people create bad situations and continue to create these bad situations. And we have to look at the writing on the wall. The next thing that the modern women, one of the things that drives me nuts, and I see this often, and I've seen this from the time I was a young man in high school to today, and it continues to trend worse from what I've seen, is drama. A man should be able to come home and his home be a refuge from the world. And a lot of times you see men going home to a toxic environment and women going home to a toxic environment too. I'm just trying to answer the question and respond to what the gentleman said about that. I don't ever speak out about women being out of hand, out of line. The thing is I look at all the factors. And when I see in a workplace, you can take a bunch of men to put together in a workplace and there'll be hardly ever division drama. But you put one woman in a workplace and it'll be a little bit shake up possibly. You put a bunch of women in a workplace together and they're trying to, pretty much murder each other with their words, be divisive against each other, and just lots of toxicity. And in this modern generation, it seems like that there's no unity of spirit among people, and let alone when you see people compartmentalized off, especially a lot of women together, there's just drama. And I've noticed that if you look at a lot of people's lives behind closed doors, it's just drama, 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 drama. And it's a man already has to deal with so much in this generation. It's the stresses of work or the stresses of life and everything else. This is one of the massive killers in relationships, is just the constant induced drama. It's like, I don't know if people feed off of it, if it's a cluster B type situation. A lot of women today one in four suffer from depression. And because of that, a lot of people take depression medications. Men take depression medications. And whenever you do that, apparently studies are coming out that the serotonin is damaged in your mind to the point where that you can never really operate effectively correct again, hence pretty much pushing yourself into a cluster B situation. It's like somebody that was possibly diabetic and then continued to damage their lifestyle to the point where they became diabetic. So, drama is a huge factor in killing relationships. And this generation, for some reason, a lot of women, that's all they do. That's what they thrive off of. It's constantly induced. And it is just, it is a huge turnoff especially if you're trying to find a Torah observant woman. That's the last thing you want is a woman that's going to cause drama, because if she's going to cause drama, she's definitely not going to walk in the Torah with you. All right, next thing, divorce. You know, one of the biggest reasons that men are so negative toward having relationships or having a lockdown marriage with a woman in this last generation is because of divorce. If you look, the statistics are pretty much pushing to the point where it's roughly about 8 out of 10 marriages end in divorce. And about 70 to 80% of those that filed for divorce was the female, okay? So because of Big Brother, because of Great Whore Babylon, because of the world we live in nowadays, because of all this wickedness, you see right here with no-fault divorce, with the court system being geared against men, you just see this toxic situation where that it is a huge impediment and stumbling block to men wanting to have a relationship with a woman, let alone a marriage, because you already sustain all the other risk ahead of it. There's could be they call it the bait and switch. You could have a lot of drama pop up later after you commit. You're going to have debt probably on the front end of things. And you're going to have all this other stuff go on, potentially infidelity, all the terrible stuff. And you may have somebody that's cluster B type personality and they can hide it. And ladies, I also want to say this in this video, that men can have cluster B type too and try to hide this stuff. I'm trying to be level across the board as I have this conversation with men. But you know, just the court system alone right now is destroying people's lives. And that comes to my last point that I want to make for in this video is death. The men's suicide rate went up 24% between 1999 and 2014 alone. We're not, I don't even need to go any statistics past that, because I've started trying to share statistics and videos and content on this channel just to try to put people's mind into a small chunk of what the real big picture is, so that you can just see it on a smaller micro scale before you look at it in a macro large picture. And you know, a lot of people go through a divorce and the next thing they think sometimes is suicide. Thought went through my mind. I've never contemplated suicide in my life until I went through a divorce. And praise Most High Yah, that he was there for me, got that out of my mind. But just the fact that thought at one point entered into my mind shows you that it doesn't matter if somebody completely healthy and stable in their life and have a hiccup and have to start their life over, or if it's somebody that was already, you know, had issues in their life and then they go through this event, that's just enough to push them right over the edge. And it's like, heaven only knows, everybody's life is so much different to the other person, what they're going through at any point in time in their life. Who knows what's going on in the back of somebody's life. So, you know, the other issue men deal with in this generation is it may cost you your life. Dealing with certain women, certain females that are in this world today, may cost you your life. Especially, I need to put that scripture in the video description below. The second Esther speaks of that many men have erred because of women. And so what I would say to women today, especially those ladies that are Torah observant that watch my channel, I hope this video is not an offense to you. And if it is, then so be it, because I haven't said anything sideways or out of line. But the thing is many, many, many men in this generation will not commit to women because of the toxicity of what is out there to be had. And that really is what it boils down to. I mean, you find very few women that are modestly dressed, that are respectful, that will wear their zit fringes, however you want to refer to it, that will submit to their husband, that will respect him, that won't cause drama, that won't put him in a pile of debt, that won't, divorce him and take everything from him and eventually, cause him death in his life. I mean, we're going down and help people. I've worked with homeless people that because the reason they're homeless today is because they went through a divorce. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this is real stuff. This is real talk. And there's just the risk versus reward nowadays is just so much. And I think that that's why a lot of men are so negative toward females. And I think that you ladies that are good, solid, honest women, and I know there's a lot of you out there that's still good women, I think you've got to understand that because of the fact that there's so many more toxic people nowadays than there is good, it's hard for people to see past that to try to build something. And that's why we all have to go above and beyond, not only love Most High Yah, but love one another to a point where you will shine past those toxic women. Because I'm telling you, it's got a lot out there that's not showing a good representation for your sex today, and the same goes for a lot of men out there too. I hate to say it. I haven't always been the best shining example I think that a man could be in life, but I'm trying to grow in my walk every day. So guys, with that said, that's the 7 things that I find a modern woman will bring to your life. You know, there's a lot of people out there can be really good, but you've got to be wise about who you select, and you've got to look at these aspects, because these things can scar you for life. So guys, as always, till we see you again here at 7 Times Prepper channel, I hope the Most High Yah baruch you and keep you, make his face shine upon you, show you favor, and give you shalom, my friends. In Yahushua name.